What's up, everyone? It's Joe from ArcherVSRogue.
I'm Tony.
And today we're going to do video game debates, episode 2.
Numero dos.
Yeah, but today's topic is best JRPG of all time.
Chrono Trigger.
I'm going to be picking Suikoden 2, Suikoden 2. Everybody calls it something different.
See, it's an amazing game. So this debate's already over because both of them are really good.
Well, I mean, they're two top games. They're two top games.
I'm fucked.
They're two top games. So basically, we're going to get 2 minutes to say why I think my RPG is the best game of all time. The best JRPG game of all time.
It's in the top 10.
And then, we get a minute each to rebuttal, dispute it, and we'll end it with 45 seconds of kind of last thought, last little whatever.
Closing statements. That's the word I was looking for. But before we get started, make sure you hit subscribe down here somewhere. Whatever you're watching this on. Leave a comment.
Comment. Somebody subscribe.
Yeah, we're poor. We want to make that YouTube cash.
Yo.
We want to star in airplane mode with Jake Paul.
My grandma's watching.
There's a movie.
She's the only one that watches. But
your grandma. But your grandma's number one supporter of us.
Yeah, my number one subscriber.
Hi, Grandma.
Make sure you do all that. Let's go. Suikoden 2 versus Chrono Cross. Is that what you picked?
No, Chrono Trigger. I love Chrono Cross, but come on, motherfucker.
All right, let's go.
Round 1. Fight!
Chrono Trigger is the greatest RPG of all time, probably the greatest video game of all time, right? I mean, the best sprite work of all time, ever. The best use of the ATV from Final Fantasy. You get to do combination attacks like Suikoden, but they don't suck ass. You have this huge world to explore through different time periods. This really amazing story. You have artwork from Akira Toriyama. Mr. Dragon Ball himself. Right. The guy that Joe would totally suck off.
You should see my man cave.
Because Joe looks like Krillin, see? So he loves Dragon Ball. But you just have, again, like 6 in the previous video, you have an emotional story. You have wonderful characters that go through changes, and they go through a lot of development. Some more than the others, of course. But you have like Frog. Oh, I love Frog. Frog's my favorite video game character of all time. You have a battle between who you think is going to be the big bad of the entire game, right? And then if you spare him instead of have Frog fight him, he joins your party. Like, as a kid, that blew my mind because I thought you had to fight him. And then I was reading through like an EGM or some shit, and bam, you can get him in your party. Holy fucking shit! I mean, it's a wonderful game. Like, every time I can play it over and over and over, and it's a very short experience, about 20 hours. But man, it's like they call it the Dream Team. The Dream Team, like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Dragon Ball people, and you can tell they poured a lot of effort, a lot of like heart and soul into this little game, and it's the best of all time ever.
Alright, so both of these games are good games, so to rebuttal one's kind of hard, but the biggest problem with Chrono Trigger is that it's a tiny bit short. It's a little short to be considered the best JRPG of all time.
Perfect.
You could spend hours in it, but you quoted it from a quote from Tony. This is about a 20-hour playthrough for him. I mean, can you consider the best RPG of all time 20 hours?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
No, JRPGs have to be lengthy. That's part of it. You put those hours into a game for a reason, because it's part of JRPGs. It's just part of JRPGs. Outside of that, the only other thing I could really think to bitch about personally is the characters in the game. They didn't suck me in like a storyline should do in a JRPG, because that's what JRPGs do, is they tell a fucking story. But yeah, besides being short, besides that, it's a good RPG. It's hard to argue a lot there. You got a good point, but I still think Suikoden 2 is by far the superior JRPG.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
All right, 2 minutes is not enough for this. Suikoden 2, Suikoden 2, whatever you want to call it, is hands down the best JRPG of all time. When I first played this game, I laughed, I cried. I was happy. I felt happiness. Everything about this game is fucking beautiful. The first one's really good, but 2 is by far the best one. They bring back characters from the first one. It's just a great enjoyment. Victor, Flick, your 2 main ones. You tag up with your sister and your homeboy Joey, which makes part of this game fucking awesome because the whole plot twist comes with Joey. And you also get 2 basically villains in this game. There's like a half-game villain of Luca Blight, and then you get this shit that goes on with Joey, which makes it even fucking better. The battle system's pretty good. You get a 16 for your battles, and you get the main shit you always get. You can just free install it. You can actually do the attacks. You can, all your magic. You can even bribe people. What other game can you bribe people to fucking just get out of battles? Nobody ever does it. Nobody uses it, but it's an option. But the best part of 2 is just the story, man. Everything about it, from the betrayal to the fucking just putting together a war, man. It's fucking brilliant. And I think just how much they use from the characters from the first one that they bring over to the second one. Even villains like Necklord, that was fucking awesome. That's one of the best parts of the game, is going back and fighting Necklord. Everything you can think of. Collecting all 108 stars is just satisfying. This game had 3 different endings, by the way, which is just satisfying. And just building your castle, watching your castle grow. Everything about this game is awesome. And like I said, the main point, though, is the story. The main character from the first one, I think, maybe is better than the main character from the second one. But if you go get 108 stars from the first one, you can get the main character from the first one. And that really puts this game, like, over the fucking top, having both main characters from the Suikoden's in. So, hands down, Suikoden 2, best JRPG of all time.
So I gotta talk shit about Suikoden 2. Can't talk a lot of shit.
It's hard to do.
The first, until you get to your base, really fucking slow. They also give you random characters when you escape your first little base, and you can end up with complete shit in your party, man. It makes the next 4 or 5 hours painful. Fuck, man, but talking shit about Suikoden 2 is really hard. I really can't think of too much. You think? You still have to use Stallion in your party to move fast across the world map, but at least they introduced a run button in this one, thank fucking God.
It's true.
Yeah, Suikoden always has a problem also of having 108 characters, and more than half of them are fucking useless. But fuck, man, I can't think of stuff about Suikoden 2. I can't think of that shit. That's too fucking hard, man. It's a good game. Luca Bright is fucking amazing. There's nothing to say, because Chrono Trigger is the best motherfucking game of all time. Joe was talking about something about 3 endings. Chrono Trigger actually has about 10. He's bitching about 20-hour playtime. You have more than that. You can go back, get all those endings, but it's 20 hours. It doesn't take you fucking 40 to 50. Who has time for that shit when you're a 31-year-old man? No. 20 hours is perfect for a game. And everything that Suikoden 2 does, Chrono Trigger does a hell of a lot better. But I really can't complain at all, because both of them are amazing games. This has been the hardest debate we'll probably ever have on here.
Yeah.
But Chrono Trigger's better. Obviously.
Alright guys, final thoughts. Suikoden 2, best JRPG of all time. One thing I didn't even talk about was the different battles you do. You obviously have your random encounters, your main battle, but then you have one-on-one duels, which are fucking awesome to do. And then you even get a tactic stall where your army fights other armies, and it just makes everything about the game. Like, how many games are that detailed where you have 3 different ways you're going to fight? And that's one of those other things that just puts the game over the top. And the characters that you use and the units, you have to make units for these armies, and everything you do is so detailed to how you're going to fight these other armies that it's just fucking awesome. I mean, you can really put some time into it and a lot of thought into it, and it just puts the game over the top. Outside of just a kick-ass storyline and the characters, it really puts the game over the top. Suikoden 2, best JRPG. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. That was Debate episode 2.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
These are
that's a hard one.
quick
really
and easy,
hard.
but that was a really hard debate.
Yeah, best JRPG
Chrono
of all
Trigger.
time. Suikoden 2.
Chrono Trigger.
I'll put the thing up here. You can vote which one you think's the best. One of these is probably more popular than the other, so we'll see what.
Did you know
say.
that your grandma is a huge Chrono Trigger fan?
Oh, that's a shot to the nuts, Granny. Don't tell me that's
Granny
true.
loves CT.
No, she doesn't. Make sure you vote. Leave us in the comments if you don't agree with these two. Tell me what you think is not Final Fantasy VII, like everybody's gonna say. But tell us what else you think. So some underrated ones, if you will. But
I already know. I know all of them. So don't even recommend me anything, because I'd be like, come on.
Make sure you get subscribed. Do all that stuff. What up, Granny?
Hi, Grandma.
Make sure you do all that. On top of all that, make sure you guys always shop local. And remember, you're my #1 subscriber.
You.